Given that Nintendo's been high off of the Switch One's farts, they've been on quite the run of pure greed as of late. And so far, a lot of us have honestly just kind of been putting up with it, as you can see with the Switch 2's sales so far. And admittedly, I've been putting up with the above average sized end's greed too, seeing as I got a Switch 2 at launch. Well, I can't speak for anybody else. The make or break for me is gonna come down to Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, and if you give me an hour, I'll explain why with plenty of time to spare. Okay, so the entire internet was already hot at the gaming industry for raising game prices to $70, and then a cocky Nintendo high off of the Switch's farts decided to push things even further with $80 games. The above average sized end's claim, though, is that the $80 games would only be reserved for the top tier titles. My initial reaction to this was that I don't like it, but I'm not gonna lie like a lot of the internet and pretend like I'm gonna skip some of the heavy hitters. But while I will admit that I'll cave paying $80 for a jam-packed 3D Mario or Zelda game, or paying $50 in a bundle with Mario Kart, I swore on my dad's ass that I'd never go that high for anything else. And so now here we are with a brand new 2D Yoshi game that honestly looks really fun. As much as Nintendo's been pissing me off as a business, I do at least still respect the developers themselves when it comes to delivering fun, at least for the most part anyway. But even though I've 100%ed just about every Yoshi game to date except for the one on the 64, this is where I'm gonna draw a line in the sand when it comes to paying $80. Because you see, I'd honestly straight up defend Nintendo for $80 games if it meant that only the absolute top tier games would cost $80, and if it meant that smaller, simpler games would cost $40 or $50. You know, stuff like 2D platformers or puzzle games, because honestly, I think that the gaming industry should have a mix between super epic open world 100+ hour extravaganzas as well as quick simple 10-hour games. I just don't think that the simpler games should be treated the same as all, especially when it comes to pricing. And honestly, I think it's our responsibility to speak with our wallets, which most won't, hence why Pokemon still phones graphics in and never brought the national decks back. And like, I know that everybody's got their own breaking point, of course, whether it be the Switch 2's $450 price tag, Mario Kart 8's $80 price tag, $50 amiibos, Virtual Boy's optional but outrageous $100 price tag for the Switch 2, or, you know, $40 for the cardboard version. But for me, Yoshi's my make-or-break moment when it comes to what I'll put up with for the Switch 2, because even if this is hands down the greatest Yoshi game of all time, I will never pay $80 for it. Like, I swear to God I won't do it, nor am I gonna buy a used copy on eBay thinking I'm outsmarting Nintendo, because even playing it at all is gonna be admitting that I find the game to be irresistible. If the game's $50, which we all know it won't be, I'm definitely gonna pick it up, no questions asked. $60's still too high for a 2D platformer, but fine, whatever, it's still cheaper than my egg bills, but $70's the real mystery zone for me. And look, I know that this video is gonna get outdated really fast, which is why I'm not really bothering with my usual wacky animations, if you could even call them that, but $70 is a really complicated price for me when it comes to this game. Like, I can understand a 3D platformer like Donkey Kong Bananza or Tears of the Kingdom even being $70, but a 2D platformer for me is really pushing it. And if the game's like 30, 40, or 50 hours long, making it a little more worthy to pay $70, and to me, that's a shitty 2D platformer, because I think that a big part of the appeal for simpler games is that they're shorter. So $70, I just don't know, man. Like, I love 2D Yoshi collectathons way more than most people probably, but it'd still be really easy for me to resist given how crazy my never-ending backlog's always gonna be. Like, seriously, how do people find the time to play every notable game that comes out? What's making me consider caving for $70 though is, one, the game will be fun, and also, at the time of this recording, I haven't even turned my Switch 2 on in like a month, mainly because I'm finishing up the few PS5 games that the console did end up getting. But I mean, still though, it'd be nice to play my new console that, despite being a little pricey and the company being greedy as all hell in general, I do genuinely like. If everyone's truly unhappy with Nintendo's funny business lately though, then it's important that we all put our foot down now, because if not now, then when? Because man, when the 3DS was failing in the beginning, Nintendo bent over backwards to make things right, and the same thing happened with the Wii U as well, so if we really want Nintendo to course correct with the Switch 2, then the only possible way is through speaking with your wallet. And so far with the Switch 2 breaking records, we're not really off to the best start now, are we? Of course, everybody's got a different breaking point, but the more you cave, then the less right you have to complain. With all that being said, though, again, that $70 price for Yoshi really does have me torn. In fact, if it's not $60, then part of me kind of hopes it ends up being $80, so it kind of makes the decision for me, you know? But I mean, seriously, though, is $60 really too much to ask for a 2D platformer? Well, for a company as greedy and cocky as Nintendo, of course it is, but Square's greedy too, you know, and the Final Fantasy VII remake's only gonna be $40. Although that's probably just to increase the sales for parts 2 and 3, since the first one is kind of old at this point. Still though, it's at least nice for now, and kinda nicer than anything Nintendo's been doing lately. After all the hooting and hollering I've done in this video though, I kinda feel like I shouldn't buy Yoshi out of principle, but I guess I'll just have to wait and see, if maybe there's more to the game than I know right now. Like, typically, I hate watching more than the initial gameplay teaser when it comes to games, and hell, I even consider seeing review scores to be a spoiler in some ways, as I think it influences my expectations on a game one way or another. But for this one, I think I'm gonna have to look at a little more gameplay before I make my decision. If 2D Yoshi ends up being 70, which my butt, not my gut, but my butt tells me it will be, then I think I'll have to actually wait and see what people think before surrendering my money to the above-average sized end. But anyway, what say you? Do you have a breaking point for Nintendo shenanigans, or do you not care what the internet thinks and you're just kind of sort of having fun with the Switch too? Either way, let me know what you think in the comments, and if you got a kick out of my incoherent rambling and maybe disturbing imagery, then you should check out the video I made on the history of Zelda fans being fickle, but if you'll excuse me though, I gotta go bail my dad out of federal prison somehow. Apparently that's something you can bail people out of now. Later.